the Prince of Central Park. Oh, I love that applause. Did anyone here see it? Oh, amazing. I love that. The Prince of Central Park opened at the Velasco Theater in 1989 and closed after only 4 performances. The show actually premiered in South Florida in Key West and was presented by Jan McCart. It starred... Jan McCart is like the leading lady of South Florida theater. It's like every season you get, I mean, she's amazing. She's a very legendary performer, but she's been in South Florida for many years, and every season in Florida, it's Jan McCart in Hello Dolly, Jan McCart in Maine, not Jan McCart in Molly, although, you know, what could have been. In Florida, the show starred Annette Fabray originally, and McCart and real estate magnate Abe Hirschfeld decided to take the show to Broadway. And then Gloria DeHaven was cast as the lead. She was eventually fired and replaced by Joanne Worley, with Jan McCart as her understudy.
The show is about JJ, a 12-year-old boy who ran away from his abusive prostitute foster mother and found shelter in a Central Park treehouse. An unhappy middle-aged woman, Margie Miller, who has recently been left by her husband for a younger woman, befriends him. There is also a rough-and-tumble street gang who try to get JJ to join them and be a druggie.
The Prince of Central Park was first a novel, then a TV movie starring Ruth Gordon, and then a musical. Evan H. Rhodes wrote the book as well as the libretto of the musical, and according to a note in the playbill, the novel had 100,000 copies currently circulating in the Soviet Union as an example of what happens to an orphan in a decadent capitalist society. Like, this is what America is like. Prince of Central Park. Here we go. Florida audiences loved the show, with several jokes catering to them, including an ongoing gag that after divorcing her, Joanne Worley's husband would banish her to deepest, darkest Florida. That's what I have to say about that.
You know, if you're going to do an out-of-town tryout, why not do it in Florida, Key West? I don't know. The Velasco had been dark for almost 2 years.
That's crazy. Think about that. Think about 2 years. It's beautiful.
Dark, when Prince of Central Park came in. And it would be dark for over a year after it closed. Mimi Kramer in the New Yorker wrote, "All those who relish the chance to see a really bad musical, or are still kicking themselves for missing Carrie, should hurry along to the Velasco while it lasts."
What was so bad and crazy about Prince of Central Park? As Ken Mandelbaum writes in Not Since Carrie, the Prince of Central Park was often camp heaven, mostly because of its wildly out-of-touch portrayal of New York City. The musical Central Park featured a friendly park ranger, a gang of not very threatening, misunderstood teens, a quaint bag lady, and a couple of well-dressed men seen emerging from the park bushes. If you're gonna make a musical, and just go all the way. It's much better to see something that...
It was New York City in the 80s.
That's your vision. Specific camp highlights were a number set in Bloomingdale's called Red. In unison now. When Margie arrives in the dress department, a sweet old sales lady comes right up to her and says, "May I help you?" So, New York City. And this culminated in a dance of the mannequins. All of the numbers for the gang defy description.
The New Yorker felt similarly, expressing their dismay at an all-company number in which a pair of tap-dancing cops, a ballet dancer, and 2 homosexual couples hoof it out with Joanne Worley in the middle of the Central Park Ramble.
I want to see the show!
The gay life. Part 2, they go to New York. So, you keep thinking you've seen it all, that the show has reached its limit, but no. Some people are discovered singing a hymn to the onset of evening on a Central Park bridge. Then the bridge begins to move, then 2 men seem to emerge together singing from behind a bush, and one of them hands the other his card. Nice to meet you. There was a number on the playground swings that took place at night with lots of dry ice creating mist. At one point, JJ said to Margie, "You're looking at the world through crap-colored glasses," cueing a number called Zap, with lots of punchlines in the lyric about crap.
With its older woman, younger boy friendship, the show was intended to be another Main Hello Dolly or even Harold and Maude, but the actual treatment of the material was appalling to most people. Some were downright offended by the use of an abused orphan in manipulating sympathies in a musical.
Howard Cosell noted that it seemed that the creators had never seen Central Park from anywhere closer than Parsippany, New Jersey. He took exception at the street drug gang, writing that their major client seems to be a Natalie-dressed stockbroker, apparently unaware that there are more convenient places to buy drugs.
I just like that in the review. They were like, doesn't that guy know there are better places to buy drugs?
New York in the 80s.
I love it. The gang had a song called They Don't Give You Life at 16 where they did cartwheels, the samba, and knocked the bulbs out of lampposts. Another highlight was the running gag that the homeless lady made comic phone calls from a broken telephone that she carried around. Princess Central Park was also notable for its constant plugs for Tavern on the Green. One scene took place there, and the restaurant hosted the opening night party.
There were those who enjoyed the zany, ridiculous nature of the Prince of Central Park. And backstage, Roy Sanders said, "It had a sweet sensibility that managed to shine through, and as JJ, Richard Blake was terrific. Indeed, the then 14-year-old Richard Blake received great reviews. Howard Kissel said he had energy and charm."
Linda Weiner called Blake a major young talent. The New Yorker wrote, "That's quite a set of pipes on Richard H. Blake, who plays the kid. Once or twice I thought he was Ethel Merman." That's a serious compliment. In the Post, Barnes praised Worley and then said, "Even better than Worley is young Richard H. Blake as the runaway." Here to speak many years later about and sing from the Prince of Central Park, Mr. Richard H. Blake.
Wow. I can't. You guys must be waiting with bated breath to hear something from this wonderful piece of art. Just a little piece of trivia. In that review, it said about the bag lady who makes phone calls from her imaginary phone. That was Jan McCarthy. Yes, our producer actually put herself in the show. In every single production, from the Key West production, which was at Jan McCart's Big Red Barn. That's what the theater was called. And to our performance in Miami, or out of town Miami, and then even still in New York, she still was in the show, our producer, our presenter. And another little side note about producers, Abe Hirschfeld, who was her partner, and he put his granddaughter in the show. Yeah, it was kind of like, this is kind of how this piece was. And he also went to jail for conspiring to murder his partner. Yeah, so that was kind of what we were working with. The direction of the show, which, as you could tell from the reviews, was stellar, was done by Tony Tanner, and who had directed Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And so when we came to New York, they got rid of the director that we had because they needed somebody with credits and a resume and all that. So we decided to use the show, and basically it turned into what prop can we throw in? What can we do? What can we throw in? What props? So our gang, the really scary drug dealing gang, rode around on roller skates. I think I'm kidding. No, rode around on roller skates, did do cartwheels, and the reason for that was because the guy who was playing the gang leader had done Starlight Express. So we're like, oh, well, he can roller skate! Put him on roller skates! So it was an interesting piece. That being said, I was 14 years old when Neil wrote the title on a Broadway show, and even if it only ran for 4 shows, it will forever hold a dear place in my heart. I made the choice to do this because, I always wanted to star on Broadway, and at the time when this came about, I had an offer. They flew me down, Michael Eisner flew me down to Disney World, and gave me a contract offering me a house, a car, like all this stuff to be on the Mickey Mouse Club. And I sat in his office and I turned him down because I had this show that I'd been working on. There was like a couple of guys who actually kind of took over for the role in Mickey Mouse Club that I would have I would have done. One of them was Justin Timberlake, and the other one was Ryan Gosling. So, fortunately, and I'm here, so I made the right decision, I feel. And I actually am going to segue that into a very serious thing because, we make weird choices in our life that lead us on certain paths, and if I had done that, I would have led a completely different life. I would never have met my wife, and I wouldn't have the most beautiful 10-month-old son right now. It's Father's Day, which is why I'm bringing that up. So, you know what? So what? I'm not a multi-billionaire, NSYNC movie star, but but I have a lot of blessings, and I'm a very, very happy man. So, that being said, I'm gonna try and remember lyrics from a show that I did 23 years ago. And the upside is that there was only 2 of you in New York who saw the show. Unfortunately for me, you're both here. But aside from you two, you guys won't know if I mess up the lyrics anyway. So let me set this number up for you. I don't know where this mic stand is going, but I've lowered it and raised it like 15 times. All right, so yes, the story was about this kid who ran away, blah, blah. So the gang, the really, really frightening gang, they want him to be their bag boy, because that was what you did back then. You had a bag boy who, no one would expect. The cops will never expect a little kid running drugs. So he'll run our drugs for us. Well, then they try and mug Joanne Worley's character, who I had befriended. And so I come out of the bushes with a big stick and I hit the leader of the gang. And he falls down and goes boom. And gets arrested. And we run away and he gets arrested. So now he's out for me. He's really, really mad. He's gonna kill me. That's his goal. And so I'm preparing for a fight. I also have had a fight with Joanne Worley's character because she's leaving to go to move away, and so I feel like she's leaving me, and so it's a really rough time for this kid, and so he's going to sing about his tree house and what? This is serious stuff, people. So just picture, because you're going to hear these words and it's going to sound a little funny coming from a grown man. But just please remember, I was an Ethel Merman sounding little 14-year-old child. Okay? Right there. Alright, give me a second. Alright, why not? Let's give it a shot. Anyone try, I dare them to take me away. This treehouse is mine, I'm just where I want to be today. I built it from scratch, I struggled with every stick and stone, but I did it on my own, and I'm here to stay. And nobody else can tell me what I'm gonna be. The past is the past. The rest of my life is up to me. If I should lose, you won't find me crying. You just wait and see.